Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new video on Hijomeatman News. As you can see today, we're back with Jamie, finally back doing one of these Let's Talks after
months.
I don't know how long. The last Let's Talk we did was for the French Grand Prix in Le Mans.
Yep. You done it. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. It's been a long time since anyone's seen me in a Let's Talk.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one as well. But we're back for 2018. Hopefully,
stronger than ever.
Hopefully we'll continue throughout the 2018 season actually this time and not kind of die halfway through. But yeah, anyway, today we're back on the Let's Talks for the Valencia MotoGP test that took place after the final Grand Prix. And obviously it wasn't exactly the best end of the season for us Dovey fans, but
nope.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's just talk about the 2 days in Valencia.
A good season overall if you're a Maverick fan.
Well, yeah, or a Rossi fan. But if you're a Zarco fan, then you'll be pretty really.
You'll be
let's just get off that and go to the testing talk. We're going to go through the combined practice times, go through each rider, the best lap time, and then just talk about, things that they did, and just talk about, how their test went. So we're going to start off with the world champion, who ended the 2 days on top, Marc Marquez, a 1 minute 30.033, and obviously coming off the championship win in 2017 Honda, he then actually jumped on the 2018 Honda, which was quite interesting to see the difference between them, because you can quite clearly see that the 2018 one was so much better on acceleration, because 2017 kind of lacked it a lot. But
it looked good. He done one of his little good saves again.
Yeah, he did another absolutely incredible save at turn 10.
1:30.033 was the fastest time, like what Ryan just said, which isn't that bad either. For saying it's testing. It's quite a good lap time. I'm not sure what the qualifying lap was this year, but that's a fairly good lap for testing. Testing now, you would have thought that they'll just ride around, testing like different parts and stuff. But no, everyone seems to have gone out and tried to do some kind of qualifying lap. But like Ryan just said, the reigning world champion, top in testing. Overall testing, obviously he didn't top day one, but when you combine the times, he is the fastest, not by too much, but it's pretty good. Obviously, I don't know. It's he has that momentum, obviously, from winning the championship.
Yeah.
And Honda have I'm not too sure what the new parts are on the bikes or anything. So Ryan will probably be speaking about that stuff. I don't really know much about that because I've not actually kind of looked at all this stuff. But one of my friends was sending the stuff about the exhaust.
Yeah, there's a new exhaust on it. There's obviously the new engine. There'll be a new designed chassis. I believe there's a new air intake on the front as well. That's pretty much all I really know, because Honda, keeping quite tight-lipped about it, as always.
Keep it quite hidden.
For, a bit of a record, the fastest pole lap was the pole lap time from 2017 was a 1 minute 29.8. That lap time Marquez did in test would have actually put him second, 0.2 off his own time, but 0.1 in front of Zarco, who qualified second. The fastest race time was a 1 minute 31.5. The circuit record lap is a 1 minute 31.171, and the best outright lap time was a 1 minute 29.4. So pretty good, lap times for saying that they've only just really jumped on these new bikes. I know Marquez probably maybe set that time on the bike that he was most used to throughout the season, because they have pretty much all teams have been going in between various different bikes. I mean, Yamaha, we'll move on to them later, but 7 different bikes they've rode throughout all of the teams, like the 2 teams, 7 different bikes.
Yeah, that is kind of like expected, at least from the Valencian test. You don't gonna really show your big brand new bike for the Valencia one. Maybe like the later test, like in actual 2018, then yeah. But 2017, normally, like Ryan just said, they kind of go between the bikes that they rode this year and a couple of different parts, like for 2018 and stuff like that, which is all very interesting. And Yamaha, like Ryan just said, 7 bikes is I don't know, maybe a bit much, a bit OTT. 7 bikes is it's a bit crazy to think about. But talking about Yamaha, the first rider of Yamaha, Maverick Vinales, is second on the timesheets with a 1:30.189.
That he actually set on the first day.
Yep, set on the first day. And the real question is, which bike did he set that one? Obviously, they have 7 different bikes. I believe one of them is with the 2016 frame, isn't it? Like the 2017.
Yeah, they have the 2016 bike, the 2017 bike, and then the 2016 bike with the 2018 engine in it. So
it's all very interesting over in Yamaha. All these different combinations between the years of bikes. But he is second, and he's not actually that far off of Marcus. That's once again another very good lap there from Maverick. He did top day 1, which had me all excited. But unfortunately, he didn't top it overall, which is a bit disappointing. But
we have to remember though, he topped every single pre-season test, and then things went wrong during the 2017 season.
That new
I mean, you can't read into testing too much. You know, it's just more about what kind of teams are trying what, and that's what we're here for to discuss. What we've picked up and what we can talk about. Like Jamie said, Maverick Vinales was second ahead of Johan Zarco, who actually had a he had an interesting day. He jumped on the 2017 bike, the one that Vinales and Rossi's been struggling from about Catalunya time, from mid-season onwards. They've really been struggling with the 2017 bike. Zarco jumps on it and set the fastest time of the session at that point.
It was quite crazy. Now, obviously, I don't know. There's probably like different setups and. Yeah. I don't know if it's like the exact bike. It's surely got some sort of differences.
It was a hybrid between the 2016 and the 2017, so it was kind of the strongest points of all of them. Give them to the satellite bike, let him sort it all out, and then the factory bike will take the credit in the future.
But once again, like we had been saying in our old Let's Talks, obviously we haven't done them in a long time, but like we were saying in old ones, the Tech 3s, obviously unfortunately Folger isn't actually around at the current moment, but Zarco still surprising us, and it looks like he's going to be another strong contender, and he looks comfortable on the on that bike. I don't know, everything just seems to just fit perfectly with Johan on the Tech 3. I think we're definitely going to see him probably fighting for podiums and stuff like that again. Maybe even the first win. But we just need to hope that bike doesn't end up being like the Yamaha of this season, where it was very good in pre-season and then came the actual championship and it was nowhere to be seen. Because I want to see that guy up there.
That's what my next point was. Will Tech 3 run like normal, the 2017 bike, the year-old bike, or will Yamaha give... Will it be like a bit of a Ducati situation? The top rider, so Zarco in Tech 3's case, will get the latest bike, whereas the second rider, Folger, will get last year's bike. Do you think they might do that after I can't say the word.
It's literally a disaster. We don't know. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen, but you never know. I don't suppose a factory team really enjoys seeing not only a rookie, but a satellite team beating them. It's a bit of a slap in the face. But I don't know. I hope it stays how it is, because more Yamahas at the front. Yamaha do need bikes at the front. So you got Ducati, they have Pramac up there, Honda, they're kind of like a lone Rangers up there. But I don't know. I hope it doesn't change. But if it does, I don't think it'll make too much difference. I think they'll both be up there. They're both very talented.
Yeah.
But Johan Zarco, always surprising. Hopefully this season, next season, we actually get to see a backflip from the French big.
Yeah, hopefully.
I was waiting for it all year. I thought we were going to get it in the last race. And then little Samurai just popped up and was like, nah, fun. But, Johan Zarco, P3, very good lap time, a 1:30.3 if we didn't say it before. So only about 3 tenths, maybe a little bit less off of Mark Marcus's time, and a brand new bike. So brand new bike, and he's adjusted real quick, just like he done this season. Obviously last year when he jumped on the Tech 3 and he led the first race. So he definitely seems to be pretty good at adapting. That's for sure.
That time as well that Zarco put was only a 10th off his qualifying time on low fuel, soft tyres, and I imagine he would have set that time in a race run.
So he seems to be pretty good at adapting to different bikes. So that's always good to have in a little bit of a B team, to kind of try and help the factory teams out. But that was all very, very good. Obviously, he set his fastest time also on day 1, like Maverick Vinales. But in P4 was the guy that I'm going to say, unfortunately, Stoll Zarco to win, but at the same time, I'm quite happy that Danny Pedrosa won the race.
Yeah.
In P4 with a 1:30.436. And I'm not too sure if he was on the same bike as Marcus or not. Like we said before, everyone was kind of on different machines, and it was all a bit confusing. At least for me, because I couldn't actually watch anything. I was just kind of like looking at bits of news, and I was trying to find on sites, what bike everyone's on, and every site says something different. So I'm not too sure what spec Danny was on, but
I from what I assume, from what MotoGP was actually saying on their live stream and whatnot on BT Sport and on the app and whatnot, they were saying that if the bike has got the carbon fibre, the black fairing, then it will probably be the 2018 bike. And I have seen Marquez and Danny both running their normal Repsol Honda livery and then also the black carbon bike. So they have been doing some back-to-back. But interestingly, they won't be testing now until the Sepang test in January, at the end of January. So they're not actually going any further with the testing until they get into 2018. Whereas Yamaha, I believe they're testing next week in Sepang. So
it could be a disadvantage. But
the same thing happened last year. Yamaha went to Sepang, and look who's won the Constructors' Championship, the Team Championship, and the Riders' Championship.
Honda. But then again, that might, if that new carcass kind of thing hadn't come in, it could have all been a different story. But hopefully this year, no sudden changes happen in the middle of the year or at the start of the season when everyone's kind of developed on a bike on a specific thing. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But Danny Pedrosa, P4. Hopefully this year he actually kind of, I don't know.
He needs to find something with the front tyre and getting temperature in it, because we've seen in cold places really he just struggles and struggles.
And there's been a lot of wet races this year obviously too. If not wet, it's been cloudy, and poor little Danny, he just can't heat up the tyres. I think it's this kind of issues happen ever since Michelin came in. I think with the Bridgestones and that, obviously that issue was still kind of there, but not as it wasn't as I don't know, like it didn't impact him as much compared to Michelin, because if Michelin's a bit of a harder tyre, especially when the new car, like the hard carcass came in, Danny's just kind of vanished a little bit, and then the minute it was a hot track, he was right up there, doing really good. So I guess we just have to pray that there's going to be a lot of sun, the 2018, and then we'll see Danny up there, because it'll obviously be wonderful to see Danny win a title.
Just put a dome around every single track with
some heating on, and get Danny up there. But hopefully this year, it can all work out, and obviously hopefully the bike's a little bit more kind of like stable. Like Ryan said, has more acceleration. Hopefully it's a bit better on the brakes and that, because then we can see Danny actually kind of go back to his old days, where he actually kind of won stuff and was actually competitive
and have a proper chance of the championship. Talking about a proper chance of the championship, I think Rossi would want a bit of a better one than he had this year, but it didn't start too well for him. He had a pretty big crash at turn number 10. The bike was absolutely destroyed. Just typical, lose the front, but Marquez, he saved it. Rossi, not so much, and the bike was in pieces. And unfortunately for Valentino, that was the actual 2018 engine he had in that bike at that time. So he lost basically a whole day running the brand new engine. So he might be on the back foot a little bit, but he didn't stop him to set his best time of the 2 days. That was on the first day, a 1:30.5. And he also tested a brand new seat unit and also a brand new tank for the M1, and like we said earlier, he basically did the same as Maverick 2016, 2017, and then also the new engine across the 2 days. So yeah, Valentino, he's really got to find something if he wants to remain competitive, because there's all this contract talk, but apparently he's already signed for 2019,
which
we
is
don't know if that's true or not.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it being true, just seeing him stick around, but I kind of do want to see young riders take over if he's not going to be quick. But I mean, lots of people say he's not going to be quick and all that, but he's always there, kind of getting podiums and stuff. So it's not too bad in the end of the day. He's pretty consistent. But he's in P5 with a 1:30.5, which is not that bad of a lap time either, to be honest. And also, we kind of forgot, I think, to say that Yamaha have tested this kind of
new
radical
aero
thing.
with
thing.
the wings. The wings are back, people. The wings
I don't
are back.
know if those are going to be allowed because
No, Danny Aldridge said today that they will not be allowed. Yamaha will have to kind of amend them to.
I mean, I don't know why they. Because obviously you can have these kind of like wingy things if they're part of the frame, I think it was, and they couldn't go over the handlebars or something like that.
Yeah, as Keith Ewan says, they can't be much wider than your normal standard kitchen fridge.
And I don't know why Yamaha have brought such a massive thing that they know is not going to be allowed. Because if they base the bike off of something that works with them and then get it took away and the bike doesn't work anymore, I don't know. It'll be a bit interesting, but
it's testing though, isn't it? Every single little tiny thing helps because they'll get that and go, okay, that works. Now, if we just amend it the tiniest amount, because all it might mean is just literally put another bit of carbon fibre across to make it kind of more in with the fairing, and then there you go. It
could work.
We've seen Ducati that's the hammerhead that they had in Qatar for the test. The one that they brought in Brno, that's quite a complex. That's basically a wing with an arch around it.
Piece.
Really,
it's quite a big piece.
It's quite interesting. Talking of Ducati, 6th position. We'll move on to them now because they actually had to test some new forks for Öhlins, aluminium forks. Whereas they did test the carbon forks back in Brno because the Yamaha did that as well, and they said it was much better. But apparently they tested aluminium forks, but it wasn't about what they were made out of. It was all the stuff on the inside, so like your fork seals, your springs and all that. They were testing all brand new components on the inside of the fork to try and help them. And now Lorenzo's had a year on the Ducati. He ended up 6th at 1 minute 30.534. However, he was only a little bit quicker than the brand new Ducati rider that we'll move on to in a moment. But Lorenzo, what can he win the championship in 2018?
I mean, I would like it happen.
So would I, really.
I never would have said that before 2017. I would have never said such thing, but I don't know. I would like to see it happen because he obviously got a lot of criticism and all that, and then he kind of surprised everyone. Everyone was like, he can't ride in the wet, and then he was leading. Well, I mean, he's led so many races in the wet. Obviously, he hasn't actually won any
races. Full stop. Really,
he hasn't actually won any. But I think he's definitely capable.
How much is that down to running the soft tyre? Because how many times have we said on like Facebook and that in burning hot temperatures in Spain, and he goes with the soft tyre?
It is a bit of a crazy decision, but
you see
Zarco go 2 softs against
Zarco, and also Lorenzo in Catalonia. He ran the soft there, didn't he? When he fought back in the last 5 laps of the race to come back to 4th.
I think. I don't know if it's soft or what it is, but I definitely think he is capable. Obviously, it's going to be his 2nd season. He's kind of used to everything now. Well, at least I'm hoping he is. I hope they don't make like a totally different bike and none of them can ride it. But I hope he does well.
Ducati did have their 2018 bike at the test, and he did do some laps on it. So,
but did he actually?
I'm not sure if it was the same like last year. The bike was there, but he was only allowed to do 1 or 2 laps. Like
that's what I was kind of expecting. Like they go around, do a couple of laps, and then just put it home, and then bring it out in like a
dial everything in
later test.
Yeah,
but
dial everything in.
130.5 is not too shabby, but obviously it is testing.
Lorenzo's qualifying lap was a 1 minute 30.4, so
he's not that far off his qualifying time, and he probably didn't even try to go for like a qualifying lap. Like most of his riders probably just running around super chilled, just grabbing important information and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting if Ducati bring a brand new aero piece for next season, because at least Lorenzo, by lots of things, he seems to prefer having that extra weight on the front. Dobby
he always runs it.
Dobby doesn't seem to
but it's interesting though, because Lorenzo at Sepang, he had the aero fairing on. Dobby didn't. Lorenzo was losing up to 7 kilometers per hour down the straight, which is a lot. But then he could make it back up on the brakes and in corners. But he would also have to then fight the bike a lot more to change direction. So obviously it gives him the front end feel that he was lacking right from the first time he got on the Ducati up until we got this aero fairing where we basically saw the old Lorenzo come back. So it's like you said on TV, it's down to rider preference, and Lorenzo obviously likes a nice stable front end.
I think I would too.
It's working. Yes, so would I. It's obviously working for him. And one man actually who had to adapt to this new radical fair is Jack Miller, who moved across from Mark VDS onto the Pramac Ducati. And well, he's not had a bad first 2 days. He did have a crash though today at turn number 10. Did slide off it there, but a 1 minute 30.635. That is not going. Only about a tenth off Jorge Lorenzo, who has been on that bike for a year.
So it's not too bad. Is it? I was actually expecting Jack Miller to do pretty well on this bike, just because of his kind of riding style, and he's a little bit wild and a wild kind of beastly bike. And yeah, like you said, P7 130.6, not too bad at all.
But the thing is, he's only going to get faster. As the laps he puts in, he's only going to get faster and faster. Which
true, because this is literally his first ever time jumping on a Ducati.
Yeah.
Actually, he's been on a Honda forever, so it's his first ever time jumping on a Ducati. And he's just done bits, and it's going to be interesting, obviously, when we get to the future tests, to see what he does. And obviously in the races too, because there are some tracks, obviously, where Ducatis, they stand out over every other bike. And if he can continue that form, you never know, we might see like a 2017 Yamaha situation. Might see the Pramac boys doing better, because obviously I think he's on the GP17, isn't he? And then Petrucci gets the 18.
Will be on the 18.
So you never know. We might see the Pramacs destroying the factories. I mean, hopefully not. But it would be nice to see Jack Miller up there. So he's been
never
in
say
MotoGP.
never in MotoGP.
He's been in MotoGP for a while, so it'd be quite nice to see him, consistently actually achieving some really good results. Obviously, with Mark BDS, he done pretty well, especially compared to his teammate. Especially compared to his teammate Tito Rabat. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I'm hoping it all goes well, and I'm hoping that he does not get no injuries or anything of a sort. To, kind of put him back a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing with Jack.
He's a bit.
I think nearly every single season he's had in MotoGP, he's had some sort of injury. But anyway, he was ahead actually of his good friend Cal Crutchlow, who won't like that absolutely one bit. He would not like Uncle Jack, as they call him, to be one place ahead of him on the timing sheet. So, albeit it's only by about 19 thousandths of a second, but still,
it's not much. But
19 thousandths of a second count. And Crutchlow, obviously, on a Honda, obviously on a brand new 2018 Honda. I believe everybody apart from Nakagami will have a 2018 Honda, but that's not confirmed. But that's what I'm thinking. Nakagami will have the 2017, and everyone else will have the brand new RCV 312 or whatever it's called.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I was going to give it to everyone, you would have thought they would have given it to Nakagami too. But I'm not too sure. I think Mark VDS, aren't they running the 2017 ones?
Yeah,
and then,
I believe so.
And then LCR, not sure. But either way, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, both liveries in the LCR are going to have both bikes are going to have different liveries. Sorry. That's going to be interesting. Yep. It's going to be like it's going to be pretty much like when Jack Miller was there. It's like the same team, but two different bikes kind of thing. It's going to be interesting. Yeah,
that was really quite strange, wasn't it? Because it was the same team, but it was under different name, because
different
one
names,
was an open bike and one was the proper satellite bike. But yeah, Cal Crutchlow, he's had a bit of an up and down season. He had a podium and then a couple of fourths and fifths. He's had a few crashes and a few problems, but what do you think he can do next year? Could he have a bit more of a repeat of 2016, with the double win, podiums?
It would be good for him to have a good season, obviously, but he's not particularly one of my favourite riders, for his attitude and stuff. But I do hope he does well, because obviously the more competition there is at the front of the field, it just makes the races more exciting, obviously. So I'm hoping he does well. Obviously, it'll be quite nice, obviously, for the British people to actually have someone up there doing stuff, because there isn't too many on the grid. Unlike me over here, I've got all these Spanish riders doing bits, but it would be quite nice for Cal to do well. Obviously, he does have some decent pace, but he does make quite a lot of mistakes and fall off the bike quite a bit. But if he can kind of fix that, I think he could definitely be there. I don't think he would be like a championship contender, but I definitely think he could get the odd podium or two and stuff like that. But it's going to be interesting just to see how he goes. Hopefully, he doesn't rage about the bike. Always, when he crashes, he always blames the poor bike. Poor Honda. But Cal Crutchlow, he is ahead of Aleix Espargaro to round out the first page of the timings, and he is on the Aprilia, and he says his fastest time on day one with a 130.7. which I'm not too sure what it's like compared to his qualifying time and stuff like that. I don't know.
His qualifying time was a 1:30.8, and he did have a crash.
So he went a little bit quicker in this testing, and I'm not too sure. Like I said before, I don't know if he's on like next year's bike or if he's kind of riding like a mixture of the both, or if he's on this year's bike but with a couple of different parts. Like I don't know what bike he's on. But it would be nice to see Aprilia in the top 10.
The only thing I know for Aprilia was they were running the new forks that Ducati were running, the aluminium forks. That's the only thing I really know about Aprilia. But, well, I mean, it's a bit of a KTM situation, really. They've started the season... Well, I mean, Aleix started really, really well, and then he kind of faded, and then he come back again.
Well, I wouldn't say KTM situation. I'd say maybe Suzuki.
Yeah.
In that little context, but yeah, you know, he started really well. Like Ryan said, managed to come back at the end. But I'm really hoping that bike is actually kind of, I don't know. I don't think it would be like podiums. Well, I don't know. You never know. But it would be quite nice for it to be there, like Suzuki was in 2016. You know, it's kind of like that. If it was there in the points and then got a podium or two, yeah, that'd be quite nice. Obviously, they're running this kind of non-sponsored bike for next season. Red. That's all it's going to be.
It would look better if the levers were black, wouldn't it? It would look better if the levers were black, and even if it had a red R on the front or something, it would look so much better.
I don't know if it's going to look identical to that kind of thing they rung in the other day. They've got to surely do something to it. I mean, it's pretty plain but I don't know. I quite like it. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, this year, once again, you know, they've kind of been various teams. You know, they've had these different kind of aero kind of packages. You know, they've had that kind of like tunnely thing, and then Sam Lowe's kind of had that other funky thing. So they've been testing different aeros. It's going to be interesting to see what they bring to the grid for next season. I don't know. I'm expecting a lot of teams to have some sort of aero package. Like funky kind of thing, just because of obviously this year, you know, lots of teams started bringing them in towards the end. So I don't know, I'm kind of expecting lots of teams to have it next year, but it's going to be interesting to see what Aprilia have. And like I said, hopefully they're in the top 10 next year and actually, you know, achieving some good results. But not one bike, both of them. But it's not looking that way, at least in this test. It looks a bit dodgy. But we'll move on to the second rider later on. Rounding out the top 10, though, is the championship runner-up, Andrea Dovizioso, with a 1:30.8. Now, I don't imagine he was trying to go for a fast lap, because if he was, then that's a bit disappointing, obviously. But once again, you never know which bike he went out on. I don't know.
No, you never know what goes on behind closed doors, and you never know what's underneath them fairings. But yeah, like Jimmy said, not the lap time maybe he wanted, but
it is testing.
It's not the lap time that counts.
He might have been, you know, focusing on different small little things. And Lorenzo might have been focusing on other things. I don't know, but it's not awful lap time. But I mean, it's P10. Obviously, this year you never know. Like everyone looks like they're going to be even more closer than what they've been. So you know, you need everything to be perfect going into the season, because a couple attempts can mean, you know, front row to P10 or whatever, like we saw towards the end of this year. But he rounds out the top 10. His fastest time came from day 1. His day 2 was actually kind of like way off the pace compared to day 1. So obviously,
nearly a whole second.
Obviously, he was testing some different things there. Obviously, I mean, 1 second is fairly different. So I don't know. They might have tested something that they didn't mention on TV. They don't want to reveal all their secrets. It is Ducati in the end of the day. But he rounds out the top 10 ahead of a rider which only rode for 1 day, Andrea Iannone.
Andrea Iannone and Alex Rins, both the Suzuki riders, actually had food poisoning on the first day, so they missed a whole day of testing, which isn't good for Alex Rins because he missed most of the test last year. So
back, wasn't it?
Yeah, he broke his back at turn number 12, the fast right. He went off there and broke his back. So yeah, as Jamie said, Andrea Iannone 11th. If you haven't seen the last video that we uploaded on our channel, Suzuki and the concessions, They have got them back for 2018, and if you haven't seen the video, we'll run through it now. It means that they have 9 engines instead of 7, unlimited testing, and they can enter up to 6 wildcards instead of 3. And they also can, change their engine, update and upgrade their engine whenever they want through the season instead of having the lock and the sealed engines. So that's good for Suzuki because, we've seen when Maverick Vinales was on it, when they had the concessions, they won races, they got podiums, and you would not put it past Andrea Iannone doing that same thing next year if he can really, get confident with that bike. Because we've seen it right at the end of the year, both him and Rins.
They've both been pretty strong, especially Rins has done a lot of progress. Obviously, we'll get onto him later, but Iannone, like you just said, I think he's definitely capable of winning races on that bike. Obviously, if they have a package which he can win on, I think he can definitely do. Obviously, when he was on Ducati, we saw him, fighting for victories and podiums and stuff. So, I'm hoping it all goes well. I kind of missed not seeing that blue and yellow bike up there. I was kind of so used to seeing Maverick up there, and then to see them two fighting for a couple points with KTMs and stuff, it was a bit disappointing.
It's quite upsetting one to see.
It's quite depressing, but I think they will be back, hopefully. Obviously, they started the season really strong, 2017, with a front row start, and unfortunately he did crash out of the race, but that's typical Iannone. But even pre-season, I think it was Sepang, wasn't it, when he was right up there?
Yeah, Sepang, he's beat the lap record, didn't he, at Sepang? And we thought, hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute.
Iannone he means business this year, and then things just went really wrong.
It seems to be everyone that's done well in pre-season last year.
I don't know
had
if
a bit
it
of an awful
was
season.
the sealed engine unit, the sealed engine that they couldn't change and couldn't adapt. I don't know if that played a part, but honestly, something went really wrong.
Something went awful
for Suzuki, because they just went absolutely nowhere, and nobody, Iannone kind of gave up. He went to be a model and whatnot. He just gave up on life. There was even talks about sacking Iannone mid-season or bringing in Johnny Ray. Everything went off, but something clicked in the last 3-4 races. I mean, what was it, 4th, 5th, or 5th and 6th in Japan? They were running in the leading group at Phillip Island, and then Valencia, Rins got 4th, and he hadn't. To be honest, watching Valencia, I hadn't really noticed Rins at all weekend. He kind of just seemed to be under the radar,
just popped up.
And then in the race, just popped up and beat Valentino Rossi, which was quite impressive. And talking about impressive, we'll move on to KTM now, 12th and 13th.
Not bad.
Right, that's right. So KTM. Reverse crank engine. Mika Kallio did ride at the race. He didn't actually test, which I thought was quite surprising. He didn't put an extra bike out for testing. He wasn't present at the test. He wasn't out on track. But Mika did run the reverse crank engine. And if you don't know, actually, Jamie's video that went out on the channel earlier today as we're recording this, Mika Kallio has signed again for 2018. And from what we've seen, that's not exactly all bad, because they've done really, really well in developing the bike. So they did run the reverse crank engine. So basically, instead of the crankshaft spinning forward, it spins backwards. Basically, that's all that is. They are also testing. They're also testing brand new parts for basically the weakness of the 2017 bike. So swing arm, suspension components, and then they said more to come in 2018. So when they get to Sepang and Buriram, which is the brand new test track instead of Phillip Island, which could benefit them because
the fresh track for everybody.
It's not as cold and wet, but yeah. So KTM, what can you say? Because they've done an absolute outstanding job going from about what? How long? How far was he at the end of Qatar? At the end of the first Grand Prix after the race distance?
I'm not sure, but I definitely remember in the testing they were 3 seconds, close to 4 seconds off, and then it just kept coming down a little bit. But they were both stone last, pretty much.
Right,
and
here we go.
Yeah, the bike totally changed.
Are you ready for this?
Here we go.
In Qatar, Paulo Espargaro finished 16th, 33 seconds behind Maverick, who won. Bradley Smith was 17th, 39 seconds behind. If we go to Valencia for the final race of the season, Bradley Smith was 11th, 30 seconds off, so they gained 3 seconds, and Paul obviously crashed. and also Mika Kallio did. But obviously, so they've gone from being out the points to constant point kind of.
Not just point finishes, it's even been top 10 finishes. Well, I say top 10. Paul Espargaro. Bradley Smith, he's a bit out of that equation. But, Paul Espargaro has definitely been achieving some really good results. Obviously, Kallio, like Ryan said, when he popped in, he done some really good results. So the bike...
Aragon and Saxon
it looked capable to get top 10 finishes this season. For their first year, if you look back at pre-season testing when they were like 3.8 seconds off, it was kind of awful, really. I mean, obviously it's their first season, so they can't say too much about it, but it was awful. And they just kept coming down and down and down. Then when they changed engines, they went from the Screamer to the Big Bang. The bike kind of like totally changed.
Yeah, and it changed for the better. And that was again the concessions allowing them to change and just keep updating the bike, and that, like we were just on about with Suzuki, I think that was their downfall for 2017. But Pol Espargaro, after the 2 days, he set a 1 minute 31.100, and then his teammate Bradley Smith just a tenth behind him on a 1 minute 31.202. So both of them KTMs are getting better and better, and when they really find out the parts that they've run and run the numbers back in the factory on the weaknesses of the last year's bike and get them the brand new fresh bike and the new parts for 2018, I reckon they could definitely have a good chance of fighting with a few of the big guys on occasional weekends.
If you think about it, they started this season, like I said, 3.8 off, and in some of the qualifyings they were like sometimes like less than a second off the pace in their first season, obviously with all the concessions and that. So who knows what they're going to do, in this second season. Obviously in this test here, they're a second off.
1.1 and 1.2. So again, that's 2 seconds in a year.
That's a lot of time. If they've done all that in 1 year, obviously they're going to have all their concessions again this year. Who knows what they're going to do? They're going to knock off even more time. And imagine if they knock off so much time that they end up being like Moto2 KTM, suddenly up there winning. You just never know with KTM. It's a small factory.
Who knows as well? How much time they're going to knock off if they do sign Johan Zarco? How much time they're going to knock off if they do sign Marc Marquez?
So it's all going to be interesting. I do like Pol Espargaro on that bike though. Bradley Smith, not so much, because I don't know, he's just not done too much really compared to Pol. But obviously he did have a little finger injury and stuff like that. But Pol Espargaro definitely, I think he's going to be one to kind of watch. Obviously Smith too, he will be there, but Pol Espargaro is definitely way
Bradley Smith
above
kind of
Smith's league.
Has had a little bit of it's kind of revived kind of sort of thing at the end of this year.
He's kind of went into a little
popped up with Pol a little bit.
Nothingness phase, and then popped up again, which is not bad. But you need to kind of be on the level that Pol's been all season, where he's been there all the time. You can't keep dipping up and down, up and down, up and down, because that kind of thing can get you, kicked out the sport. Obviously, these are the best riders in the world. And
as we've seen as well, very, very close. Bradley Smith getting fired by KTM for Mika Kallio, but
which I think would have been. I think it would have been a good idea, but or do like a switch, have him as a test rider. But he's probably gonna be there next year. I think he's got all these problems sorted out, and he's gonna be strong. At least I'm hoping for his sake. But
I think as well, if you think back to his Tech 3 days, he was kind of there on the Bridgestones, but when the Michelin came in, it was a bit of a Pedrosa thing. It kind of took him a lot longer to adapt and everything. So,
and it's thinking like Pol Espargaro, when the Bridgestones were here, Pol Espargaro was pretty much like a laughing stock most of the time. And the minute Michelin came in, he kind of like just exploded, and he's really good now, which is obviously good to see, because he's.
I remember last year
he's fought Marc Marquez and stuff. We want to see him actually fight him in this sport. MotoGP.
I remember like last year at Misano, when he was on the Tech 3, he was top of one of the practice sessions. I think it was FP3. He was on top, and I was like, hang on a minute, could he finally do something? But then he did kind of slip away as the weekend goes. But who knows? By this time next year, we could be sat here talking about KTM finishing inside the top 5 and being a champion in 2019.
You just never know, especially if they put Zarco on it. Zarco's a great rider.
Yeah. That's what I was
support.
just about to move on to. A few talks about 2019 in KTM. As Jamie just said there, Johan Zarco, apparently KTM are interested in signing the young Frenchman for their 2019 campaign, and also having a brand new satellite team. Now, there was talks a few months ago about Mark VDS, whether or not they'll run Honda, whether or not they'll run Suzuki, or will they run a KTM. And apparently, they have been talking to KTM for 2019, and it will be Miguel Oliveira and Brad Binder, the current two Moto2 riders, who, like Jamie said earlier, incredible last 3 races to the year. And I think that would not exactly be a bad thing to keep Brad and Oliveira on machinery that kind of they know. I know they run a Honda engine in Moto2 and that, but I think that would be a good idea. And then also, just like Yamaha having the satellite team, you can progress a little bit more information through.
Yeah, it would be a good idea. I would be in favour. I mean, it'd be kind of weird seeing a blue KTM.
It would.
I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be Mark VDS sponsored. I don't know how that would work, but it would definitely be a good idea to see more KTMs. Obviously, they're doing the same thing in Moto2 this year, you know, adding in a couple more KTM machinery and parts. But I hope if they do that the factory team is, you know, on pace, because, you know, expanding kind of like the project with another 2 bikes. I don't know, it could get a bit tricky if they've got their main bikes good.
We've seen this year, Brad Binder won Moto3, and then he come into Moto2 this year. Okay, he had his injury. Oliveira, he's been there throughout most of the year. He's been in, you know, inside the top 5, fighting for podiums and that. MotoGP's been getting better and better. You look at Moto3, that's just gone downhill, like massively downhill. So I don't know if they took their eye off the ball of Moto3 to focus on Moto2 and MotoGP, and then let Honda dominate in Moto3. But I don't think that will happen next year. But like you said, who knows? I mean, if they focus on bringing this new satellite team up in 2019, could they then take their eye off the ball of KTM and do like a Yamaha?
I mean, it could happen. I mean, I'm hoping not. That doesn't happen. I want to see KTM up there. But obviously that Moto3 thing, you know, KTM looked like, yeah, we're going to wipe the floor in pre-season. And then I think, wasn't it just before Qatar, there was this, Honda brought this new bike pretty much. And then they just absolutely destroyed KTM, and KTM couldn't fight back. So hopefully this year it's not like that. Obviously the top KTM was a Platinum Bay, wasn't it? I mean, that's not even the factory kind of like team in Moto3, which is a bit disappointing, obviously, for the Red Bull KTM. But you never know, they might have been probably focusing on the bigger bikes. Definitely MotoGP, they want to get to the top. You know, everything that KTM have kind of entered, they've always won. So obviously they have their eye on being the top in MotoGP. Whether they'll get it or not for this season, like for 2018, don't know. But I think they'll definitely be a lot closer. But 2019 could be a season to look at for sure. Especially, like we said, if they sign Zarco, then that could be a perfect match if you want to try and get a title. Obviously, Zarco with some factory support. If Yamaha don't give it to him, KTM, they will definitely give him a good package, I think.
Yeah. Going back to Moto3 as well very quickly, now Mahindra's left, there's more teams going for KTM, so KTM's got to find something to then keep, you know, teams wanting their engines and whatnot, because, you know, if KTM's just going to keep getting absolutely, you know, mugged off by Honda, everyone's going to go to Honda, aren't they? And then it will just become a Honda championship. So KTM, I think definitely they won't let, you know, Moto3 happen again, because like you said, they're here to win everything. They want to dominate everything. So only time will tell, really. But I think 2018 and 2019 will be a good seasons for KTM, just getting stronger and stronger in all categories. And talking about new adventures, Tito Rabat has moved over to Avintia. Again, a bit of a here's my wallet sort of thing, I think, for Tito, with his good old pal, the boss of Avintia. 14th at the end of the combined practice, at the end of the test, at 1 minute 31.386. Well, what do we say about that, really?
Well, I mean, I don't know. What was his pole time on the Mark VDS Honda? Has he even improved on that, at least, on this new bike? This new Ducati?
His qualifying time in qualifying number 1 was Tito Rabat. He qualified 14th with a 1 minute 31.197.
Okay. And he's not faster than his qualifying time.
2 tenths off.
I don't know, it's a totally different bike. I guess he's not done too awful to only be 2 tenths off. He's faster than his teammate. He's actually going to beat his teammate this year. Well, I say that. You never know.
We say that.
Might come out here and dominate for all we know. I mean, probably not. But Tito Rabat, not adapted as quick as Jack Miller, for example. I don't know. I think that's probably where he's going to stay, really. I don't think his name's going to go up the order. If anything, I think it's going to go down.
I reckon he'll be fighting for...
Probably fighting for the tail end of the points. Because obviously, Alex Rins, he's going to go up. Petrucci, he's going to go up. So,
Morbidelli, going to go up. Nakagami, going to go up. You would have thought, anyway.
But, I mean, you would hope so. But it's not awful, but it's definitely not kind of what you expected. And if I was Avintia, that is the Avintia team, isn't it? Yeah, the Avintia.
Yes.
I'd be a little bit worried for 2018, money-wise, financial-wise, everything. Because you got Rabat, who's...
Yeah.
he's Rabat. And then you got Xavier Simeon, who's 4 seconds off the pace. So,
yeah.
It's gonna be,
I agree.
It's going to be a tricky season for them. Hopefully it all goes well. But I don't know. Think it is.
I honestly don't know. But we're going to move on from that because, me and Jamie don't like riders who open their wallet and hand over some cash.
They are not worth our time.
To see riders deserve and earn their ride. Much like this man, Alex Rins, in 15th position. Like we said earlier, he did have a bit of a poorly tummy for day one and ended the test in 15th with a 1 minute 31.516. And like we said earlier with Iannone, they're only going to get faster and faster as things dial in, and I reckon both Suzukis will be exactly where they left off 2017 at the start of 2018.
It would be a very positive way to start. Obviously, Alex Rins very young, very, very quick, and it would be nice to see both of them up there. If not both of them, at least one of them. It's been a while. That entire season just seeing Suzuki struggling and then coming back. Hopefully they do start like that, like you said. Obviously they do have all those concessions, and hopefully, Alex Rins has missed out on day one, but hopefully doesn't get no like similar to Jack Miller, no injury to set him back, so he can have a full season with full fitness, and just go out there and show his speed and talent. Obviously, he got pretty good at the end there, beating Iannone. Iannone has always been quick, and he has been in MotoGP for a couple of years, and it's obviously Alex Rins' first year, and he missed out on loads of testing and stuff, and he got really, really good at the end. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do for a full season, hopefully fully fit. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. And he's definitely going to be up there. Obviously that time isn't that great, but he missed out on day one, and who knows what bike they were running. You never know if they were running a 2018 bike or a mixture or last year's bike. You never know. Tesla, they don't always reveal exactly what they're doing because you don't want to reveal your little secrets and stuff. But he had come from a upset tummy and stuff like that, and he's not that far. How far was he off of Iannone's time? 7 tenths, which is not too shabby. Obviously, they probably were on totally different bikes, but not too bad from Alex. I think he obviously is definitely going to go up the order. He's not going to be there for the rest of the season, but he is just ahead of Danilo Petrucci, which I don't know. I was expecting him to be a little bit higher. Obviously, it is testing and all, but I don't know. I was expecting his name to be kind of further up. Really. Yeah,
so was I, really. A 1 minute 31.721 compared to a 1 minute 31.2 that he set in qualifying, but he even qualified down in 15th position. So
maybe it's this track. I'm not sure, but once again, like we said before, he is going to be on the GP18. Well, at least that's what we're expecting. He might not want the GP18 for all we know. He might think it's garbage and go for something else. But that is the expected thing to happen.
And Petrucci has such a good year this year. Really, very nearly winning the Dutch Grand Prix. Podiums in Mugello, and he's had a good year.
He is so very, very quick.
hopefully next year he can go, one better than what he did in Assen, and also Mazzano as well. I believe he finished second there.
He has had those good results. Obviously, they have kind of been when it's been wet, but I think he does have the pace if it's dry. But it kind of comes down to the tyre. Obviously, before we were talking about how the other Ducatis used to soften that. It doesn't seem to matter what tyre Danilo goes for. He seems to absolutely destroy his tyres. So
yeah,
if he can work on that, I think he would be a very good rider.
Aggressive.
I think he would be a very good rider if he sorts that out. Or if not him, the bike, they kind of figure out a way to not use as much tyre wear, not get as much wheel spin or something. Then he would definitely be a lot further up the order. And maybe even win a race. Like, he got really close this year. It would be nice to see him though in the dry out there, not only in the wet. It would be quite nice to see him when it's fully dry and up there fighting with the main people. But he is just ahead of the first rookie and the fastest rookie, I believe. Yes, there is. He is the fastest, Franco Morbidelli, who set a 1:31.786. So I'm actually very, very close to Danilo's time. But very good lap there from Morbidelli for it being his first ever time riding a MotoGP bike. He's never done any testing or anything like that. At least I don't think he's ever been invited to do testing and stuff like that.
Not that I'm aware of.
So very good lap there from Frankie. Obviously he's on the Mark VDS, so he's come from the Moto2 team straight to the MotoGP team. Obviously as the world champion of Moto2, so the only Italian champion in this season throughout the classes. So not too bad. He looked kind of comfortable on that bike. It looked good overall.
My first thought when I saw him was he did look a bit cramped on it. The bike looked a little bit small for him, but they'll soon sort that out. That's foot peg positioning, seat positioning, stuff like that. They'll soon get that sorted out. And like Jimmy said, today he looked very comfortable. From what the brief bit that I watched, he looked really, really good on the bike, backing it into corners, getting slide. Looking like a proper MotoGP rider. And as was actually the second rookie in 18th, Nakagami. 1:31.867, the Japanese rider on the second LCR that we talked about earlier. He is running the Idemitsu colours for 2018, and he did have a crash though, as did Morbidelli. Morbidelli also had a bit of a crash. He went down at turn 10, slapped himself down, but Nakagami went down at turn 6. He went on the curb and crashed. But it's better to get these things over and done with now. There we go. Can't speak. Over and done with now in this pre-season test. But Nakagami, again, he's only going to get quicker like Morbidelli. And also, just going back to Morbidelli, his teammate for 2018, Tom Nuti, he wasn't actually out on the circuit. There was a replacement rider, if you like, for him. We'll move on to him later on. But Nakagami only going to get quicker, like we've said.
Yep. And it's obviously he's the only Japanese rider on the grid. Obviously, the first Japanese rider in a while. So hopefully, for the Japanese fans, he does well to wave the flag for Japan. But 1:31.8. He's only 1.8 seconds off of Marc Marquez's time, which isn't that awful.
That's impressive.
It's not that awful. So it just shows that the field's going to be very close. And also, it was his first ever time jumping on this bike and stuff like that. So a rookie, brand new bike and everything like that. And to be only 1.8 off, it shows how close the field's going to be. So there's no room for mistakes. But very good ride there from Takaki Nakagami. And he's just ahead of Scott Redding, 1:32.0.
The only thing that I can think of with Scott Redding is, we've heard Sam Lowe say it. We've heard Aleix say it. The bike is slow in a straight line.
Yep.
It's slow. And Scott is tall. Put that together, it's going to be even slower. And that's what Scott said. He just said the bike is so slow. So I don't know if that might be something to do with it. But obviously he's learning a new bike. I hope to see him only get a little bit quicker.
I would hope that he's on Alicia's pace. But obviously we don't know if this year it's going to be similar to this season where rider number 1 had a very good bike, and then rider number 2 had like a piece of trash. We don't know if that's going to be the same case this year. Obviously, if it was going to be like that, I think Scott Redding would kind of like fight back. You know, the way he's like attitudes and stuff like that. I don't think he would accept such.
He would not stand for any nonsense. Trash.
So I think he'll go up. Obviously, I don't know. That time is pretty awful, but it is pre-season, and he was probably testing a couple of different things. Where Leash is, he's more used to the bikes. Obviously, he kind of connects well straight away. At least that's what I'm hoping. Hoping he's not going to be that far off his teammate all the time. But he is just ahead of a guy that got in by money, but he didn't do too awful throughout the season, which is KO Abraham in P20. He set his fastest time on the only day that he rode, which was day 1 at 1:32.4. Not too sure.
I'm not sure why he didn't ride today.
Not too sure what the reason for that was. But he set 1:32.4. I'm not really too sure what there is to say about him.
No, apart from I can only assume he's going to do what he did this year and, show very odd signs of, hope and promise. Like, Argentina when he qualified on the front row, wasn't it? He qualified on the front row.
Yeah, but then he dropped outside the points in 2 corners, so...
I know, that was the funniest part. He's there going, this shows everybody that I belong. And I can remember sat at this very desk talking about the Argentina race in the Let's Talk. We're saying exactly the same thing. Here he is. Oh, this proves that I'm meant to be in MotoGP. 2 corners later, Abraham is down to 16th position. It's like...
It was a bit embarrassing, but he is in P20. He is with the same team as he was in 2017. Obviously, he'll be on a more modern spec, right? I'm guessing 17, GP17 probably doesn't make too much difference because he's KO Abraham in the end of the day. But he's P20 and he's ahead of Xavier Simeon, who we were kind of ranting about a little bit before. 1:34.2 in day 1, which was
ridiculously slow,
appalling. But
that was 4. To put it in perspective, that was 4 seconds off. That was even slower than what KTM was when they first come into MotoGP.
And that is embarrassing. But day 2 at 1:32.6. I mean, it's still 2.6 seconds off, which is nothing to be jumping up and down or happy about.
No.
But obviously, it is his first ever time 2 on a MotoGP bike. Obviously, the other rookie, which didn't ride today, Thomas Duty, he has actually been in a MotoGP bike before. Obviously, a totally different bike, but he still, had that kind of MotoGP experience, whereas Xavier Simeon hasn't. And in my opinion, he doesn't even deserve to even be on this in this paddock. Not MotoGP, not even Moto2. Like, get him out, fam, get him out.
At the end of 2017, right, he scored 16 points in Moto2. He was 23rd in the championship.
Nice.
23rd. His best result in 2017, I believe, was in America when he got 13th. If I'm not mistaken now. Quickly have a look.
So that might be because of the
he got
bike.
7th in Assen.
But, I don't know. I do remember seeing him in the past. Like, he was actually sometimes fighting for podiums, and I think he did lead a race once, but he fell off or something. But why is he there? Why?
I don't know.
Obviously, MotoGP, they wanted a Belgian rider on the grid. For what reasons? Don't know. There's no Belgian track. They're not going to be going to
that's
Spa
what I was about to say.
Or anything.
They don't have a Belgian circuit.
They're not going to be going to Spa anytime soon or anything like that. I don't even know what other tracks are even in Belgium apart from Spa. So I don't know why they needed him. But yeah, I just don't know. And the guy he is replacing is
Barbara and Baz.
Either Barbara or Baz, one of the two. Both of them, and actually both of them riders, they done pretty well. Obviously, I don't know, they kind of had like some good moments and some bad moments, but the fact that Baz, well, I don't know if it's true. Everyone's saying that the Dorna they only want, like, they wanted a French rider, and then now they've got Zarco, so they don't care about Baz. I don't know if that's like true.
Yeah, That probably is. They wanted a French rider, and now they've got one at the front. It's like,
so it's just like, let's just get him out. Let's just put a Belgium rider in, because there's so many Belgian tracks to go to in MotoGP. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm going to imagine he's going to progress. They would be nice.
I'd hope so. But
Not,
I also have a bit of visions of him being a bit of a Sam Lowe's, really. Just maybe a little bit less crashing, but then again, it is Javier Simon.
I mean, he probably won't crash when going that slow. Probably get lapped. That's what we're probably going to be seeing.
Yeah, but he might go so slow, he might stop in the middle of the corner and
might go so slow that the bike stalls. So,
but anyway, he was ahead.
He's going to go up. I hope.
Yeah, I'd hope so. He was ahead of Takumi Takahashi, which we don't need to really read into at all, because he's obviously the test rider for Honda and also the replacement rider for Tom Luthi. He set his best time on day one. He had a fair few crashes, actually, did Takahashi. 133.569 was his best time, but unfortunately, he was ahead of Alvaro Bautista, who actually missed both days, because on his first run, on his first lap, he had an engine failure, basically. There's smoke pouring out the back of his Ducati. Come in the pits, got it fixed, jumped on his second bike. He had a brand new seamless gearbox. Went out, first lap, into turn one, gearbox failure, sent him straight over the handlebars, did a bit of a front flip, and landed right on his back, went to hospital, and he was declared basically unfit for the season. But the session even. I can't remember where's that for the remaining sessions. So Bautista, that's not exactly what you want going into the 2018 season with not losing
way to start.
14 hours, say, of testing. I mean, he did probably 2 laps, 3 laps, and two of them was with smoke coming out the back, and one of them was with a dodgy gearbox. So great data for that side of the Aspar. But obviously as well, Abraham didn't ride today. Maybe that was the same thing. Maybe that was a bit more of a precautionary thing, because maybe he had the same brand new gearbox and he thought, oh, I've already spent too much money here with Bautista, let's not send him out. But yeah, interesting there. But Bautista had a huge crash in the first, basically his first flying lap, and that put him out of that one. But Bautista, obviously, he was fighting for 10th. No, exactly.
I've got a brand new bike. Let's go to turn 1. Oh, I'm in hospital.
And he's going into 2018 with very limited mileage on it. So Sepang is going to be crucial for him, and he's got to hope as well for good weather. But you never know with Sepang. He could do anything. But
and stuff that
Bautista was fighting for 10th in the championship at Valencia with Miller, and then he crashed. So he lost out in the 10th to Miller. So 11th in the championship for Bautista last year. What do you think? Can he go any better than that this year if he cuts the crashing a little bit?
I think if he's on a good bike, I think he could. But I'm not sure, because obviously, everyone's going to be getting better. All the bikes are going to be getting better. Suzuki are going to be up there. Not too sure why they ended up in the championship. Jack Miller's on an even better bike. And I don't know. I think it's going to be harder for him to get there. But I don't know. I think he could. But obviously it depends on the actual bike itself. Obviously, like we've seen in this preseason, it's a bit dodgy, really. I mean, 2 laps in from rider number 1 is not too good, and then to see him go flying
and missing a whole day
is not too good either.
With Karel Abraham, so they've got barely any data for both riders, which is not exactly what you want.
Not too good at all. But quickly going back to the Honda test rider guy, I just don't understand why Honda and Yamaha, why they have these test riders that are so ridiculously slow. You look at Ducati and they have Pirro. You look at KTM, they have Kallio. They're up there. They're getting
Ducati also have Casey Stoner.
They're getting the maximum out of the bike, because they even lap it faster than the factory rider. So they're.
But that's the thing.
Good.
Yamaha was on about having their own proper test team for 2019, I believe. They're thinking of setting it up, but apparently the cost of running that is quite high. So I don't know if they will be doing it or not. But if Yamaha had a proper test team, would they have been in the position that they was in this year?
I don't think so, because obviously they would have had a actual good test rider to be doing stuff behind the scenes. Obviously, Ducati's one's very, very strong. You've got Casey Stoner, who's a multiple world champion, and, well, he's Casey Stoner, so obviously he knows what he's doing. He's obviously a Ducati champion,
the last race winner at Valencia on a Ducati since 2008, so he can ride a Ducati.
He knows what he's doing, and obviously when he does go on the bike, he's really quick too, so he's obviously... And then Michele Pirro, he's another really good rider, and he's constantly riding different Ducatis, and it doesn't even matter what Ducati he goes on, he does well. So that's two really good riders, and obviously when you have two strong riders like that, you already know that your bike is going to be pretty good, good hands for the development wise. And then, like I said, KTM, they have Mika Kallio, who comes in here, gets top 10, goes home, and just chills out and watches the factory riders doing worse. So that's all pretty good. I don't know, and it's just kind of disappointing to see when Honda and Yamaha bring in the wild cards, and you don't even see them on TV. They don't even show them because they're that irrelevant at the back of the field. They don't even give them TV coverage. But I just wanted to say that really quickly about Takahashi.
Yeah. That's all good, because it is a good point, because Oyama, when he filled in for, was it Pedrosa last year or the year before?
Yep.
He was shocking. Not gonna lie,
he was last.
He was shocking. But there we go. That's it for pre-season testing. If you have any questions that you want to ask us about that, let us know down in the comments. We will reply. But also about questions, we will be doing a Christmas Q&A.
Yep.
I know, a bit different on the channel.
Bit special.
If you've got any questions, you might have seen a little motorbike coming across the screen every now and then throughout this quite long video, actually. Yeah, a bit longer than what we anticipated.
1 hour and 13
kind of went
minutes.
off on a few tangents and whatnot. But if you have any questions, let us know down in the comments. Just let us know if it's either a pre-season testing or a Christmas Q&A in the
preferably
comments. Preferably
the questions more to us than the sport. Obviously we will answer everything, but we did get a question on another video that was asking us about TV coverage, free air, BBC. Obviously that's a good question. Obviously we will answer it. But it's not really kind of like a question to us, so like you can get to know us, and then we can ask the same back to you, and we can all get to know each other. It's not the same thing, but we will answer everything, even if it's completely irrelevant to motorsport. If you ask us what we have for dinner, it doesn't matter. We will answer them, but
don't matter.
Just make sure to leave them down in the comments, and if not down in the comments, make sure to check out our social medias, and then you can send it by direct message
Links are down in the
or anything like that.
Description,
because we answer everybody.
Everything. We are everywhere.
We are everywhere.
We have eyes everywhere.
We are always on the social
media.
medias.
There we go. Jimmy, our first video of the 2018 season.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Obviously, this video... Well, actually, not this video. Actually, I don't actually know. Let me just quickly go and check this out quickly. But obviously, as you remember, we did start uploading, and we faded away, and then we restarted again for the 2017 season. And if we go down to our very first video... Obviously, the first video does an introduction, so that doesn't really count to what I'm about to do here. So if we go down, all the way down in the channel. So we did start towards the end of the 2016 season, but where we've really started to upload again, like actually proper information, and actually kind of get back into the swing of things on the channel, was indeed with the pre-season of Valencia, which was 1 year ago. So this is technically now year 2. In fact, it is right now, the day of recording this was the day that we uploaded pre-season test review day 1 on this exact day. I was just
about to say that.
So it is exactly 1 year since we done these videos. So this is year 2, 2018 season, and it's year 2 of our channel. And hopefully everything goes just as good as it has so far, and keep progressing. But like we said, leave down in the comments or in the Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or personal channels.
Tweet us.
It doesn't even matter.
Send
leave us
us
questions.
Instagrams. comment on Facebook posts, even leave a post on our wall if you have to, or send us a direct message on Facebook. We will get the questions in, all in a little nice list, and we will try and do a Christmas Q&A if we get enough questions. If not, we'll make some up. It's all good.
If it all makes them up,
yeah, there we go. That's it. Jamie, I'll hand over to you to do the outro for today's first 2018 video.
We've just kind of done an outro, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you are still around, what could we do? What could we do? Let's try and let's see, what could you comment?
If you're still around, right, comment.
Hakuna
What do you think?
Comment Hakuna Matata. Because why not? People see that in the comments, if they just join the video, they'll be like, what's this about? But we will know that you people are legitness. So yeah, leave that down in the comments. If you're still here, leave a like and subscribe for more content. As always, check out our personal channels and, like we've just said, all the social medias and stuff like that, because we are uploading stuff here, there and everywhere. And
we are.
And yeah, turn on post notifications too for the 2018 season, because we're going to be popping off with content.
Click the bell.
Click that bell.
Click the bell.
And obviously the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, because a lot of people watch the videos and aren't subscribed. So
we would like
press that button.
Jamie,
press it.
Go on. We are 13 away from 300. Can you guys get us to 300? Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe. And anyway, this episode's gone on for too long.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys next time.
We'd like to thank you all. Adios.
Yeah. Yeah. Goodbye.